Hey guys, it's Tuesday and time for a little TomGirl. It is episode 20 and tonight we have actor Abby Miller. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Woo! I mean, the music on this show, so good, so good. Hey guys, welcome back to TomGirl. Today I have a very special guest for you, actor and a great friend of mine and fellow Nebraskan, go Big Red, Abby Miller. Hey Abby.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
And tell everybody real quick where they can follow you on social media.
You can follow me on Instagram, and it's at Abs Miller, ABS Miller. That's it.
All right, here we go.
Sweet.
Awesome. So it's been so fun because I've known you for years now. So
Yeah.
just to watch your career, grow and watch you grow and get to see all these opportunities. So let's start out with the biggest one that you just finished right now. So you just finished The Sinner.
Yes.
And you played Detective, or Caitlin.
Yeah, she's a detective in training. Yeah, Caitlin Sullivan. Yeah.
And so tell me about the process of this one, the audition process. How was that?
It's actually, I think, almost a year to the day from the time I booked the job and was shooting. I think we were talking, my husband and I were talking yesterday and realized, oh wait, I think I got it on yesterday, a year ago.
Wow.
It was a very quick process, unlike anything I'm used to. I'm usually, you audition, you have a callback, you have a test or producer session, and this one was a little bit weird because I auditioned for it probably a month before I got the callback, and it is kind of a funny story. So the casting director is a casting director I know and love. Her name's Cami Patton, and she cast me in Justified, which is another show that I did for FX. Love that show, and I love Cami. She's so wonderful. So she brought me in for this part, and there wasn't a lot on the page. It was pretty basic, like cop stuff. So I just made some strong choices and thanked Cami and left. And I didn't hear for a month, so I thought it was done. And then a month later, I get a call from my manager, and she tells me that they want to see me again for this part. And I thought they had forgotten that they'd called me in originally because it was such a long time. It'd been such a long time. So I said, are you sure it's for this part or is it for something else? And anyway, there was two different characters. But they said, we want you to do the sides from this other character as Caitlin Sullivan. So it was obviously a Caitlin Sullivan audition. So that was weird for me, but I think they needed to see that my character there could be an arc. But I went in and there was only one other girl in the room. And I remember going into the audition or the callback, and the casting associate had her iPhone and she was pointing it up, and I was like, what's going on here? And she said, oh, hey, sorry, and flipped it, and the director and the showrunner, Derek and Antonio, were on the phone. And so I thought that was so weird, but I knew that they were within a week of shooting. So anyway, to make a long story shorter, I realized after I left, I think that was my test. So essentially what is normally like 5 or 6 steps was just, it was now 2. It became 2 steps, and essentially that was my test. And within 24 or 48 hours, I knew that the job was mine, and then they flew me out like 2 days later to Charleston, South Carolina to shoot the pilot.
So for the actors out there watching, listening, talk about what strong choices you made. Because I know in classes everybody tells you make strong choices, but I feel like that's the hardest thing for actors to do or to come up with. So how'd you do that?
Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but we both came from really small towns in Nebraska, and so there's this small town community feel. Everybody kind of comes together, and the guy that runs the gas station is in charge of props, and it's kind of like it's a really community. It's a community feel, when you do community theater in small town. Not that it isn't in bigger ones, but. So for me, I feel like I like doing characters. Ever since I was a kid, I was cast in I chose to do voices and, how can I move differently from Abby? And so I feel like for me, with most of the stuff that I've really, that I've booked and that is really just me embracing the character actor in myself. So for Caitlin, for example, I knew she was from New York, so I wanted to do a little bit of just changing my voice a little, so my, so I just had a little bit of like a New York vibe to my voice, you know. I went and did a ride along in New Paltz when I got to New York, and you know, watched. It was a female cop that I would follow, so I just watched the way she moved, and so then you learn to, you know, move differently. And for the sake of the audition, I just went in and I had, you know, auditioned enough for cops that I had kind of a stance, and but I just like to make it different from me. I know some people like to play themselves. I like playing other people.
Did you do, because you have the scene where you, at the end, you know, where
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
shooting.
totally.
Not to spoiler anybody, but
Totally.
so what was training like for that?
Funny enough, I was in Nebraska, and so my husband is friends with JJ, very good friends, and we went shooting, you know, out in the middle of nowhere. It was kind of amazing. We went out to, like, in the middle of a cornfield. There was a giant dirt pile, and I shot a 22, a 9, and a 40. And like learned a ton. This guy was incredible. He was one of the local officers in the town, and he happened to be a relative through marriage of Chris's. So I shot right. I mean, it was like maybe a couple months before I went to do the series in New York. Once we found out it was picked up.
So did you know that scene was coming and
No.
you needed to learn, or you just happened to do that?
No, I like for training. So for training for Caitlin, I had no idea. I just wanted her to feel like she was strong, even though, spoiler, like most of her arc is that she's struggling with like finding her strength. You know, she really is a little bit of a pushover when it comes to one of the other characters, but I didn't know anything going in because I didn't have. I mean, we had a conversation about where Caitlin could have gone, but in terms of story, so I trained. I did boxing. I worked with a former boxer. And I worked out at this gym, really right down the street called Pullman's Gym, and I worked out there twice. Yeah, I worked out there twice a week. Actually, I told Bill that. And I worked out there, and then I did the shooting, and that was pretty much it. I just wanted to feel like Caitlin moved and like carried herself differently from myself, and also just to feel like she was strong. So that's why I did the boxing and like self-defense classes and stuff like that, or he taught me some stuff while I was boxing.
We get a little bit of a character discovery with her when we find out that she did have a relationship with Mason.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was, I didn't know for sure, but that was the only thing that they'd kind of alluded to, the showrunner and Antonio, the director, and one of the other executive producers, is that yes, there was a past, that we went to high school together. So yeah, I mean, it was really fun. I would have loved to have seen it, to have explored that more. But yeah, Mason, Chris Abbott, who plays Mason, is really, really great and
really, really cute.
Really, really cute. I mean, like, he's such a nice guy too. Like, he's such a good person, and I had a really, really fun time working with him. And yeah, it was like super easy. You know, there's some times when you cast in a part and it's a whole lot harder, you know, the job.
Yeah.
This job was very easy in that respect. So he's very handsome. Yeah.
and how about your scenes with Bill Pullman? I mean,
oh, dude, he's amazing. Yeah, he's so great. I mean, he is like when Chris. So my husband and I both hung out with him in Charleston when we shot the pilot, and Chris is like, man, I don't think many people can pull off denim on denim like Bill Pullman. Like, he's such a cowboy, or like he just owns his body, he owns himself. I mean, he's 60-something years old, and he's just like he's a real man, and he's really, really nice, and just like a lovely human being to be around. He's got such great energy. It was such an easy job. I mean, in that respect, because he was wonderful, and Jess was wonderful. Jessica Biel, she's
gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of the ultimate TomGirl here. I
Oh my
think we
God,
all
she
have girl
is.
crushes on her.
Yeah,
on her,
and
right?
she's really is exactly what you would expect. I mean, what you would hope. She's incredibly humble. I mean, somebody who's been in the business since she was 14 or something, and you would never know it. I mean, she's so kind to everyone around her, and also is a total tomboy. I mean, like, in that quintessential, like, she would show up to set not wearing a stitch of makeup and look amazing, and also like wear it well. She just her essence like pops. She's just a really incredible human being. I really like her.
And how was it as a female being involved with this project with her? That she was, her baby. She's big on producing more female-driven projects and making them happen. How was that for you?
She's great. I mean, her and her producing partner Michelle Purple, They're awesome. I actually kind of knew them. Well, Michelle, yes, and Jess, both we had a mutual friend that I had met when I first moved to LA, like 13 years ago. She and I became friends, and then I met Michelle through her. So it was nice to to see them and like reintroduce myself. But they are both really strong women. They have strong ideas when it comes to the business. They're so savvy, obviously. I mean, they're producing projects all the time. They're reading books. Like Jessica's reading books all the time, and like that, which is what they did with The Sinner. You know, I think it's 2 years in the making that they had read and bought the rights, and then started working with Derek. And yeah, they are go-getters and really, really fun and kind. Just like a dream team, you know?
Was she around then when they were around when you're shooting your scenes?
Yeah.
And through all of them?
Yeah, so I mean, if Jessica wasn't working, she was on set because she's one of the executive producers. And Michelle was there for the pilot, and then she was back and forth. She has kids in LA, and she's based in LA. So we shot the show in New York City or outside of New York, and she would be back and forth. But Jessica was there, I mean, all the time. You know, and she's in so much of it that I feel like she would have been there anyway.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. And did you get to watch other people's scenes being taped or being shot?
Sometimes. I mean, I really wanted to watch more, but I felt that my character was she was kind of isolated from everybody else. You know, she had her moments with Mason, and she had her scenes with Bill, and then Don Norwood, who played Leroy, one of the other detectives. But she kind of was in her own world, I feel, in a way. So I wasn't on set enough with everyone else, and it just was I mean, I don't know, you guys wouldn't know this, but I mean, I said it was a year ago we shot the pilot, and then we waited for the show to get picked up. In the business, you know, you wait. And so it got picked up in January, and we started shooting in May, and it started airing in August. I mean, it was like such a quick turnover that I feel like they were they were flying. We've been flying for a year, you know. It's not usually like this. The turnaround is usually it takes a lot
longer to build it and grow. And you think, well, and I think it makes sense for your character to because that's kind of how your character was. You're trying to get in there. You want to be a detective, so you would feel kind of like out on the outskirts of everything.
Yeah, like
you know?
she's not in it because she's not in it yet. You know, she kind of, I think, got brought into this, at least my choice was that I got brought into the fold because I was there the day of the murder, you know, in the pilot. Like, she shows up and she's the one that takes Jessica's character Cora in for questioning or for, like, just to process her, which you see in the pilot. So I feel like I got brought into it because I was just kind of, a victim of circumstance. I was there for the situation. And I think she's a very driven. Caitlin is very, very driven, and she wants to be a detective. So she's excited about this, but she's not going to rock the boat, or at least she's going to try not to.
Right.
But Mason gets in the way, as we know.
Yeah,
what a
boys
jerk.
Always do, I tell you.
Jerk.
But I really liked your relationship with Detective Harry Ambrose. You know, you could tell that he had a soft spot for you, and that you admired him. You know, and it was just nice little moments.
Yeah, he's great, and he was. He's like a father figure, I think, to Caitlin a little bit. Yeah. So,
and what a role he had. I mean, with his other, sexual deviances and stuff. Yeah, it's like it was just such a rich character, I thought. Like,
did you like the way how it ended? Because I know a lot of people really wanted to know why. I think that was a big thing that when I would talk to people about this show, they'd be like, I want to know why he's so connected, why he feels such a connection with Cora's character. And did you feel like
I feel like I got it. I felt like basically in the car when they were talking about it, that he's basically understood where she's coming from. That I don't feel like I needed to know exactly what happened in his past, but I just feel like it was something dark and deep, something that we all experience and we can recognize when other people have maybe going through something that we've been through. Yeah. So no, I felt satisfied.
That's good. And I feel like you get that from the get with his relationship with this woman. Right. There's obviously something going on.
Yes, that he needs to feel and why he can't connect with his wife. And,
it's really tragic, isn't it?
I know, and his wife was so sweet.
She's so wonderful. Katie's her name, and she is, you've seen her in so many things. She's worked forever. And she was so beautiful. She brought such, emotion to, I feel like she really went there in those moments, and I was really impressed with her work. Yeah.
Me too, because I thought they had such a real relationship, and she was trying, but then when she decides, realizing he's never gonna
It's not.
We're never gonna be there for her, you know.
Yeah. It's so sad.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
All right, now let's see what other question. Did you have a favorite memory from the set or from shooting this?
Man, I mean, it was really, really, like, overall just really, really fun. I feel like shooting the pilot was great because, I mean, we really got to know each other. I feel like we were all in this city in, you know, Charleston, where none of us lived. So there was a real, I think, a chance for bonding with the actors. And, I mean, I just really liked working with everyone. In terms of scenes, I mean, my favorite scene was probably in the last episode. Which I don't know if I should say.
Yeah, they've had time now.
Yeah, I kill somebody, and that's really cool
Right.
because
You save a life,
I
too.
saved
Yeah.
his life,
Yeah.
which, like, to me was really, really special to save Bill's life, or Ambrose's life, especially after the journey we went on together this season.
Exactly.
So that was pretty amazing.
I was clapping for you in that moment. I was like,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, finally,
Yes.
and finally, they kind of alluded to it a couple episodes prior. Derek, the showrunner, was like, "Yeah, you're gonna get to do some cool stuff in episode 8." And I was really excited about that.
So how was it for you after, you know, the shooting is over, you're home, and now watching it roll out and watching people react?
It was insane. Like, I mean, I feel like I've read some stuff or seen some stuff with Jess where she's been interviewed and she's just like, I think we were all shocked, to be honest. I mean, not that we didn't believe in the project. We obviously believed in it, but to know that people would be so excited about it and get behind it. I mean, it's a hope and a dream as an actor for you to be like, you know, for your first, because this was really my first official series. I've been on lots of series as recurrings, but to come in and for it to be a lead on a show, it is really exciting. I mean, it's the #1 cable show of 2017 so far. So I couldn't be more happy and, you know, more excited for the show and excited for, you know, especially Jessica, Michelle, and then Derek and Antonio. And then also Charlie, who's the other executive producer. All those guys, I'm like, they should be ecstatic, and, you know,
Of course, yeah.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. Marissa, did you want to add, Marissa in the booth? Because I know you were really fascinated with, and you loved the directing and the way this was shot. You want to comment on any of that?
Oh, I love we were talking about Big Little Lies, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like the editing was so well done.
Yeah.
And, you know, you always say like editing tells the story, but then when you break it up, and I think the show did so good at like showing the nonlinear aspect and going back to the same moment, but it's shown in different ways.
Yeah.
To reveal like a certain subplot. I thought it was brilliantly executed.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought the editing and the cinematography, I thought the pilot was, the DP was this guy, Jody, who ended up directing episode 6. And he is incredible. I just thought the way that it was shot, the aesthetic of the show was so beautiful.
Yes.
And I agree that the editing was insane. I mean, that last episode, they had to tie up so much.
Yeah.
And the way that they were able to do that, and you're right, like that's so much of the story and the storytelling is these memories that she doesn't know if they're real or not, or what parts of it are real. I mean, she has a very vivid memory, and then she finds out midway through the show that that's not real. And all of these, sometimes she's playing with whoever, you know, the prosecutor or Ambrose's and trying, and she's feeding him a lie. But then other times, she really is remembering in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And the way they edited that was just really incredible.
And kind of like the pacing too. I know you just started to touch on that. Yeah, because I was thinking when I finished the #7, I was like, "There's a lot to happen in the eighth episode." And I thought, oh, maybe it's going to be like crammed full and just, you know, maybe not be. But I was really impressed that it was paced out really, really well. It didn't feel rushed, but it gave you everything. I just think I don't know. The eight episodes were just. Everything was timed so perfectly. It flowed. It was definitely one of those series you got to the end and you're like, oh, I want another one.
Yeah.
You know, just like we
that's
crave
good.
now. Yeah. So
that's a big compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goal. To have people want more.
And the marketing too. I think we have a picture. I don't know if you already put it up there, Marissa. But
oh yeah.
So we have there you are with Jessica Biel. But then I also have you kissing the bus station from your Instagram. Because we all saw these.
God.
I mean, the subway station.
That was so cool because living in New York, I mean, it's been a dream. It's so funny because I've been in LA for over 10 years, and then I've always wanted to live in New York. So to live in New York for 4 months and shoot the show was incredible. And yeah, I sent I sent that picture to Jessica and Michelle.
The kiss.
The kiss. I'm like, this is how much I love you. But yeah,
I thought it was so cute.
Yeah, that's one of my few posts on Instagram. But yeah, she's really exceptional. So I will take pictures. I will kiss dirty Subway poster for her. I will do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I know we don't have a ton of time, so I want to get to some other things. So you've been in so many other shows as well. Like you said, is one of Justify? Is there another? Is that your other favorite role that you've been in, or what would you say is your favorite?
For sure. I mean, that character was so wonderful. It was such a crazy journey too with her, because she started off as such a little part, and then it was like the little part that just kept growing and growing. And it was, I mean, some of those guest stars that I was able to work with, and I'm fortunate enough to work with, were just wonderful. And then the series regulars as well. And I became very good friends with numerous people from that show. And I mean, the writing was top notch. So it was a dream job for me. And I got to play, I mean, she's a prostitute. I don't know if you guys, there's a picture. Yeah. She's like kind of the hooker with the heart of gold. And just goes through an epic journey from season 2 to season 4. She finds Jesus, and it was just an incredible role. And again, great for me in terms of character, because I got to do, like, they're from Kentucky, so there was an accent, there was a way she moved, and it was just so much fun. That was my favorite. Yeah.
I think we have a couple other pictures of some other acting roles. Do I show those while we're here?
Do it. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Mad Men.
That was awesome. That was kind of the beginning of, like, the next chapter. John Slattery directed that episode, so I got to work with him extensively for those, couple days, and he was amazing. I mean, look at that. I mean, the attention to detail, the character, the costumer on that show was incredible.
That's what I loved about that show. I mean, I was an ad major, too, so I was fascinated with,
oh, my God,
and then the way they style everything, I was about that.
Like, they said, like, my character's name was Dottie, and so I don't know if you noticed, they have I mean, everything is dots. Like, I have these little dots for earrings and these dots for, running up my dress. And, I mean, even just, like, the hair and the woman sitting next to me, not in this picture, but to my left, is the girl that becomes Don Draper's love interest. He marries her, Jessica Biel. And she had, I mean, I would see her nails were painted the same color as her dress. And her lipstick matched her. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, they always had her to the nines.
Oh, my God. Yeah. You knew she was going somewhere.
Right, yeah.
Because that was early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about these now. So we talk about adventure here, too.
Yeah, amazing.
So we pulled a few of your adventure photos from your Instagram.
Yeah.
So
I love to travel. Another mutual friend of ours, our friend Tara, she lives in Kenya. So my husband and I, this Christmas, went to Africa, which was my favorite trip I've probably ever taken. That was in the Masai Mara, and it was insane. Yeah, and another one. Yeah, we're such fans of travel. I mean, especially while we can, we got to get out,
And you also, so this is Pirate, your doggy.
I actually almost was going to text you and be like, can I bring him?
I was going to tell you could, because usually, like last week, Marley sits in here and just hangs out.
Way.
But I didn't run home before this time. But yeah.
He's we've taken him, we've taken him to so many places. That was Utah, and then the picture previous was Santa Fe. He was with us in New York for 4 months. This dog has traveled more than most dogs, I'll say. We put him in the car, or we've gotten him on planes.
Do you have to put him underneath? I wanted to ask you
no.
that.
We did the emotional support thing, we call. We're just like, no, we need him to be. We won't put him under the plane. But yeah, he's our best friend. We love him.
Does he sit on your lap then?
Yeah.
Because Marley's about the same size. That's why I'm asking. I want to take her back to Nebraska.
He sits on my lap. Oh, yeah, and then that's South Dakota.
Yeah, this I pulled just because I think it's beautiful. I see all your New York photos, but I haven't even seen this bridge. So this is the bridge you said from South Dakota to Nebraska?
To Nebraska, yeah.
I thought, gorgeous.
We always walk across this bridge with Chris's parents when we visit them in Yankton. So, it's a beautiful. I was like, this is such a beautiful bridge. It's brand new.
I was stunned when I read your caption. I was like, that's Nebraska.
I thought that was Paris.
Wow, we're so sophisticated back in Nebraska.
Yeah, I know. We've got it going on.
Right. I mean, because there's that everybody asked me about that giant bridge. You know that. It's like I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Nebraska, but I always thought it was like the ugliest thing. I was like, come
Wait,
on.
was it the bridge?
No, the like.
Which one is
It's
it?
been there so long.
Is it in like Omaha, Lincoln?
No, it's like North Platte, like
Oh,
out there.
Oh my God,
You know what I
that bridge.
mean?
The bridge that was in the movie.
In Nebraska.
Alexander.
Yes. Yeah.
That movie, or that bridge is so ugly.
So
And
now
I hope
this
we
I
don't
can get on
lose.
board with.
I hope we don't lose.
I know, I'm really
don't lose
sorry, Nebraska.
fans.
I love you. You know I love you, Nebraska.
I know I love you too.
I just was amazed when I saw this one. I was like, now that's a bridge. I like it.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful bridge.
Sorry, Nebraska.
They'll
Any
still
other,
love
like,
us.
what are other either top places that you've been to adventure-wise or that are on your list, your bucket list you really want to check out?
Okay, so I mean, we've been so many places. If I was in a city, my favorite city is New York. I love New York. But next place we want to go is Japan. Chris went years ago with his sister Erin, and so we want to go back. That's like one of the others. I want to I want to try to visit every continent, like if I can. So really, I mean, the sky's the limit as far as where we want to go. But our other favorite place, I would probably have to say, well, there's two. We got engaged in Ireland, and Ireland is really special. The people are so wonderful. We like met a family that became our adopted Irish family that they were at our wedding. I mean, it's crazy. Really beautiful people. And then I loved Iceland a lot. We both we went there for Chris's job, and we ended up traveling around. We were in Reykjavik for a while, but then we went all over. It was it's just so beautiful.
Did you do the hot springs?
Yes. Oh my
that's
God, we
on
did
my
this
list.
one hike where we hiked for 4 miles or something up to a hot spring, and then we took our, because it wasn't super hot, but you just
Yeah.
lay there in these pools, like rubbing mud all over your face, because it's just the earth, the soil, the whatever clay is so great that people just put it on their. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a really, really special place, Iceland. It's unlike anything else unlike anywhere else we've ever been. So it was great.
That's
Those will
definitely on my
probably
list,
be my
too.
favorites. But it's hard, like Italy. I mean, but then that's all. Yeah, that's why I think Kenya is probably the best, because we got away. We really, it's the furthest I think we've traveled so far.
And you just
Yeah.
cut off and
Oh my
just
God,
yeah.
the cultural shock. It was so great.
Yeah.
was awesome.
That's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna I do each week a little Tom Girl of the week.
Okay.
And now we're doing a new called the Tom Girl Timeout, where we do really quick a little bit of roundup of the news and things I want you guys to look out for this week, and then I'm going to come back and ask you a few more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week, for you guys, the ESPNW and the U.S. Department of State are going to host the Global Sports Mentoring Program, and it's through October 31st, and they have 17 emerging female leaders from around the world, and they'll begin a 4-week mentorship in the U.S. alongside top female executives from some of the most influential organizations in sports and business. So I just thought that was really cool. Some of the businesses are Burton Snowboards, Eli Lilly and Company, ESPN, Fox Sports, Gatorade, Google. So just a great thing that the Women's Sports Foundation, these emerging leaders, are out there if you're interested in that. In other news, I got to give a shout out to Will Ferrell and his wife Vivica, because they donated and gave USC's women's soccer team their first full scholarship. The soccer team is one of the few programs at USC that didn't have a full scholarship, so him and his wife donated this now. So now,
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he's alumni of USC, and I love that he's given back to the girls' sports program. We know he's also an owner of a team out here as well, but I love that they're giving to women athletes and encouraging that. And the USC is actually, their program was national champions last year, so hopefully they will do that again this year, and he'll give them a little help. And then if you want something cool to check out, right now, the 8th annual ESPNW, the Women in Sports Summit, is going on. It started actually yesterday, but you can go onto the ESPNW site and you can look at all the speakers that are there and see you can see some videos of things they've already that are going on, and just it's a really great just board of really powerful female leaders and on all aspects. So something really cool that I discovered today, and thought you might want to go check it out on their site to learn more about that. So in light of that, what we're going to do for the Tom Girl of the Week is actually going to go to Will Ferrell and his wife Vivica for what they did. All right, that's it. Now back to you.
Nice.
Okay, so I want to ask you for some of the young girls out there who maybe want to be or aspiring to be an actor as well.
Yeah.
Do you have advice, tips, things not to do, things to do? I mean,
Yeah, I have a lot of advice. I feel but I mean, trying to keep it concise. I mean, definitely, if you really want to do it, you got to do it. You just got to go for it. You know, that's as simple. I mean, like, as simply put as I could be, is just to go for your dreams if you want to do it. And especially if you're in like Los Angeles, for me, it was just one of those things where I kind of always wanted to be an actor. And fortunately, I had parents that supported me for the most part. And even when they weren't supporting me, they were challenging me, which is still support. And I just never like lost sight of it, really. And trust your gut, and that's it, you know.
And share with them, like we were talking before, you came from a town of how many people?
Yeah,
how
I
many
came
people
from
were
a
in your
town
school?
of 800 people. So like I said, there were 20 kids in my graduating class, and community theater was a really big deal. Like we all came together and we did it. And I just remember my first play I did when I was 12 years old, and I just thought, this is amazing. I mean, the opening night we got a standing ovation, and I was like, I've never done something that I've enjoyed more thoroughly, and immediate gratification was given right after, and it just felt like I want to do this forever. Like that was it was such a high. And so I've just spent my life from then on saying, how can I move closer to that instead of away? And I mean, it's been a long road, but I feel that if you really, really want to do it, you should just do it, and like don't overcomplicate it, you know, because we can. And especially, I know, you know, in Los Angeles, it's really easy to get bogged down by like the way you look, or that you didn't come from this or that, or I mean, and it's so easy for you to say, well, you're not this enough, or you're not that enough, or for your, you know, your agents or managers or whoever it is that's, you know, your friends to say you're not this enough. It just, if you really want it, just trust and keep at it, and you know, and that's it. I mean, it's really it can be that simple.
Are there any particular coaches or classes that you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if you love theater, which I do and did, and still do, I shouldn't say did, Steppenwolf West is a really great one. So if you're in Los Angeles, if you're in Chicago, then Steppenwolf. And I don't know if they have anything on the East Coast. I'm sure they do, but it's a program or a theater company in Chicago that's Chicago-based called Steppenwolf. And Jeff Perry is one of the teachers. He's on Scandal. He plays Cyrus on Scandal. And he is an incredible actor and an incredible mentor to me. He has been. And that I would recommend to anyone. If you are in Los Angeles and you want to do something that's theater-based, study at Steppenwolf West. And then the other one is Warner Laughlin. She's an incredible teacher, and she teaches this really cool technique that just happened to be something that I really, really needed at the time when I got in with her program, I guess. And it's more like it's kind of in the vein of theater where you build a character from the ground up. So you're not bringing yourself in as much as you are just like it's playtime, and you get to, like with Caitlin, she doesn't have to be from a small, I mean, she could be from a small town, but there's a lot of her that isn't Abby, and I really like that. Like I said to you earlier, the separation where I get to do something and go home and just be, you know, take off my belt and my uniform and be Abby again. And so she's incredible, and her program is incredible for that. So Warner Laughlin, and it's a technique, I guess, that she teaches. So,
and any tips, what have you done to get yourself through like the low times when maybe you weren't working and maybe you had doubts and you thought, am I doing this? Is this ever going to pan out? You know, how do you get through those things?
I mean, I feel so. One thing that I definitely would recommend as well is do more than just act. I write, and I started writing years ago. I was in a band for 5 years, which I know you knew. Make sure that your life it can't just be about your work specifically as an actor, because there's so much downtime no matter what. Even if you are like Jessica Biel has downtime, and we all have downtime, and so it's hard when there is that much to not become, you know, bogged down with the stagnation. And so I feel that for me, I write. That's what I do. I make sure that I have a great community of friends that I hang out with. And obviously, in terms of jobs, I mean, that's a whole other thing. If you want to talk to me like more specifically, just Instagram me, because I would love to talk specifically about this, because I have lots of stories about how I've gotten through things. But ultimately, it was so much faith and like trusting in that I had the goods, you know, that I was like, because there would be times, and my mother would tell you, where I was like, my phone is getting shut off because I couldn't pay my bills, but you just keep believing that someday and it's like progressively gotten easier and easier.
Yeah.
So it's just that, I think. It's just like keep believing in yourself. Don't get bogged down, or don't get, there's a lot of noise, a lot of white noise, and just do your best to take care of you. And also find other things that you are excited about, like sports. Playing sports is so much fun for me, being active. Like I just started playing basketball again, which is amazing because I haven't played in years, and I love it. I mean, just anything you can do that's going to make you feel good, you should do that.
What other sports are you doing? Yeah.
Oh, well, so I was doing boxing, and then I just started I hated running in high school. Like, I ran track for 3 years, and I hated it. Like, hated running for so long, and I just started running again. Like, I got obsessed with Beyonce's Lemonade. I'm, like, so behind. I'm years behind. But this summer, I started listening to that album, and I would just go running to it. And so, I mean, kind of running. Yes. Yeah. It's, like, meditative. I mean, we would, like, there's a walk, go on walks in New York. I would walk across Brooklyn Bridge. I'd walk all over. I mean, so, yeah, those are the main things. Mainly, if I was playing a sport, it was going to be basketball. But you know that. You're amazing. You kick my butt.
No, I haven't played in so long, and we do have our Nebraska alumni game in like a month.
Oh my gosh.
I might need to come play basketball with you because I haven't shot for a long time. But so you're writing. Are we ever going to see you like writing?
Yeah. I mean, so I've just written a play. I'm finishing a play, and I wrote a feature. I mean, I wrote something years ago that a couple friends of mine, we made it into a feature that did a festival run. But, I mean, I'm writing a lot more than ever, because it's also when you're working, you're inspired, and so you want to just keep the inspiration flowing. So I love writing. It's such a respite for me, it's necessary for my life. If I don't do something almost every day, I wouldn't say every day, but I will feel it, by the end of the week. So, I mean, everything. I like plays. I'm writing a play. I'm writing a pilot. I just love to write. That's
all right.
Yeah.
And so the music, because you brought that up.
Yeah.
So you used to be Jen and Abby.
Yeah.
So are you ever going to go back to more music as well?
I think about that. I was just thinking about that today because I love Jen. So our band we were called Jen and Abby. It was just the two of us, and we would hire on session players. And Jen and I are very close. We just played, we played a gig for our 10-year anniversary, and it was like 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. Crazy. Actually, maybe 2. That's bad. But I think I would do music 100%. I would do it again if I felt that I had something to say musically. I just have to have something to say,
Would you do it solo, or would you?
I would definitely work with people because I'm not musically inclined. I mean, I can pluck on, play a little bit guitar and a little bit of piano, but I would need some help. So, yeah. And maybe at some point. We always talk about it, but I don't know. So many things to do.
Yeah, I know. So little time. I tell you. Yeah. Any upcoming projects? Anything that we can look out for you on?
I just workshopped a play, but other than that, I'm really in this very. I don't know what's next. We don't know what's next for Sinner season 2, and that just wrapped like a month ago. So I'm waiting on that, and then writing. That's what I'm doing.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for coming. It was so great to catch up with you.
Oh, JJ, it's so good to see you.
Yeah. Tell everybody again one more time where they can follow you at.
Yeah, it's on Instagram, and it's at Abs Miller, ABS Miller.
And on Twitter, you're on there too.
Yeah, I think there's a 23 in there. I'm so sorry. I'm bad
I
at
think
this.
you might be Abs Miller on Twitter, and then I think you're Miller_Abs23 on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, it's one
Possibly?
of those. Yes, that's it.
Look up Abby Miller. You'll find her. Follow our tweet. She's on mine and on the AfterBuzz and TomGirl one. You'll get her.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for tonight, everybody. We'll be here again next Tuesday, where we'll have the LA Lions girls hockey team on. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right. So stay tuned for that. And you can follow me at TomGirl TV and at JJ Jurgens. So thanks again. Thanks so much, Abby.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.